What is this? What is this about? Any thought or feeling watching this presentation so far is you. The self. The thing that is recognizing the difference between black and white. The thing that is reading these lines. Whenever the mind cognizes, the I is born. I, the self, the ego. The center. The self-experience. The mind. The mind manifests itself in form of perception of feelings and thoughts, also called cognition. Cognition meaning the mental process of knowing, including aspects such as awareness, perception, reasoning, and judgment. What leads to this? How does it originate? What is it that leads to perception? Let's start with looking at the sense organs. The eyes are seeing. Through the lens in the eye, light is focused and nerves stimulated by certain wavelengths send data to the brain. The ears are hearing. Other wavelengths, called sound waves, stimulate the mechanism in the ear and impulses are sent to the brain. The nose is smelling. In the nostrils molecules are detected and nerves are stimulated who send impulses to the brain. The tongue is tasting. Molecular structures delivered into the mouth are recepted by nerves and the sending of data is triggered and received by the brain. The skin is feeling. The biggest organ is sensitive to pressure and temperature, and also here nerves are responsible for triggering impulses. Internal body sensing. Nerves are sensing the internal physical functions and send impulses if something is not in order. Example, headache or stomach pain. Hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, internal body sensing. The data delivered by the sense organs is processed and causes feelings if the intensity is above a certain threshold. The mind interprets the outside according to the received data triggered by the sense organs. There is no direct contact between the mind and any outside, speak external object. Whenever sense organs are stimulated, they trigger the sending of data. Data originating from contact of the sense organs with forms, sounds, odors, taste and touch, or status messages from internal body functions. All is the interpretation of nerve impulses triggered by the sense organs. That is why the sense organs are also called the sense doors, because they are the doors to the outside world connecting the mind with the external environment. Whenever sense organs are stimulated, they trigger the sending of data. Above a certain threshold, data causes recognition in the mind and becomes conscious. On the primary level, in the form of feelings. Agreeable ones and not agreeable ones. Whenever there is feeling, it is either liked or disliked, wanted or unwanted. In various intensities, from very mild to very strong. If there is no like or dislike attached to it, then there is no feeling. One is either pleased with the feeling and wants to keep it, or one is displeased and wants to get rid of it. Feelings are unstable and changing. They come and go like clouds in the sky, or waves in the sea. They are of impermanent nature. Usually one has little control of the feelings. They are occurring themselves in certain moments and situations. Thoughts as well. I have a good feeling and think, oh, that's nice, I want that. Oh no, go away. Yes, please, I want more. Oh no, not again. What a nice day. Whenever there is perception of feeling or thought, it is either liked or disliked. Even if it's just a tiny bit. Or it cannot be called a feeling or thought, since there is no perception. The line symbolizes the infinite state of no perception, not good nor bad, no thought, no feeling. Good feeling, bad feeling, no perception. No perception is free from feelings and thoughts that could be liked or disliked. This target cross represents the focus of the mind, recognizing the changing feelings. Good feeling, no perception. Bad feeling. The feelings and thoughts move between positive and negative perception. Countless times a day. I am hungry. Bad feeling. I see food, smell it, taste it, chew it, swallow it. That gives me a good feeling. Contact of the sense organs with forms, sounds, odors, taste and touch generates perception. Perception in form of feelings and thoughts. Good feeling, bad feeling. No perception. Whenever there is aware perception of data that is triggered by the sense organs, the mind feels either attracted or averse towards the presented data. Whenever one is not without no perception, feelings occur and eventual thoughts arise. One can say that any form of perception creates a kind of tension in the mind. Any difference from the state of no perception results in tension. This tension is worry, stress, strain, anxiety, pressure, nervousness, Angst, unease, pain, suffering. These feelings are all variations of negative tension in the mind. This is dukh or dukkha. On the contrary, there are wanted feelings that seem to be desirable, states such as pleasure, joy, happiness, delight, thrill, amusement, excitement, ecstasy, relief, satisfaction, relaxation. These feelings are all variations of as positive perceived tension in the mind. Any difference from the state of no perception results in tension. Any perceived state is a tension, regardless if it is perceived as a good or bad, desirable or rejectable one. Feelings represent the tension which results out of the difference to the state of no perception. Feelings, either liked or disliked, are just two sides of the same coin. One is either pleased with the momentary feeling and wants to keep it, or one is displeased and wants to get rid of it. Both aspects of feeling, wanted or unwanted, result into clinging. This clinging, sticking, hanging on and being attached to likes and dislikes starts to form the picture of the self. The impressions of made experience over time gets imprinted and memorized. Likes and dislikes occur, preferences arise in form of clinging to certain states. This clinging and being attached to likes and dislikes results in the idea of I and mine. This belief in and being convinced of one's own perception is in most people growing and strengthened over time. The clinging to sense objects, opinions, rites and rituals, the clinging to the idea of selfhood, forms the idea of how things are and what one is. The blueprint of I is born. Feelings create the motivation to act. As soon as the intensity of a feeling is above a certain threshold, action will usually follow. I feel scared, so I run away, to feel safe again. I feel hungry, so I eat, to feel satisfied. I'm feeling sleepy, I rest or sleep, I will feel refreshed. Feeling an itch, I'm scratching, I feel relief. I'm feeling cold, so I'm looking for warming, to feel comfortable. Feeling attracted, I go closer. Then there are various feelings possible. The basic motivations to act originate directly from feelings, and one knows instinctively what action brings relief. Besides instinctive actions resulting from feelings, there is learned or trained behavior. From childhood on, we learn that the right action might lead to the desired change of a feeling. Experience-based learning is the ability of the mind to put feeling in context with the realized data coming from the sense organs and the own actions. I am cold, and over there it is warm. Feeling cold, so I look for warming, to feel comfortable. There, it is warm. Good feeling. Feeling attracted, go closer. Eya, I feel pain. Touching fire, feeling pain. Learn effect, avoiding it. In our simple example of touching fire, this action leads to nerves triggering the sending of data, causing recognition as intense feeling of pain, signaling to back off. Also, all other sense organ data made in this situation will be memorized in the context of this situation. The mind will associate the different sense organ data experienced with feelings in context of made actions and encounters. In future, seeing, smelling, and hearing fire will bring back the memory of made sense experience in relation to the action. One will remember, fire can be painful. The mind remembers the experienced feelings and thoughts in relation to one's own actions and encounters. This example is just one of countless experiences that are memorized over time. All these constellations of memorized sense organ data is what forms the landscape of what we call personal direct experience. So far we looked at feelings and how they occur through data delivered by the sense organs when they are stimulated by form, taste, odor, touch, sound and internal body signals. Undeniable, we can think, can't we? It seems to be something different from feelings and is even more creating the impression of a self. Of I, the self, the ego, the thing that is reading these lines, and eventually thinks about what it reads, in wordings or in pictures, or in the best case, is just concentrated following this presentation. Thinking can be in different ways. It can be imagining a sequence of pictures when thinking about a past or anticipated future situation. Or it can be in structured form of a learned language, taking into account what one has heard and read over time. It can be in numbers, in equations of physics, in formulas of chemists, in notation of musicians, in programming languages, or many more man-made frameworks. The mind is fed and filled with this abstract data, creating views and opinions of how things are. For example, the language used on this screen. The language can be heard if there is a narrator. Seeing language, hearing language. Language is recognized and the content of the information somehow understood and memorized. After Prometheus, a fire god and divine trickster, had stolen fire from heaven and bestowed it upon mortals, Zeus, the king of the gods, determined to counteract this blessing. Sometimes the information is not correctly understood or just simply mixed up in the head. The read or heard tends to fall into the own context according to how it fits into the view of things. People like to reproduce what they think they know. Besides direct experiences, they exchange loads of abstract data that has been heard or seen. The mind is associating and a whole chain of processes can get launched. Hearing, reading, seeing things can cause the mind to start associating in various forms. Picturing it, loving it, hating it, analyzing it, understanding it, not understanding it, hoping for it, fearing it, building future scenarios, or whatever you think. Feelings are a direct association in the moment and are only positive or negative. It is when the mind starts analyzing that values and labels are assigned to the various shadings and intensities of feelings. The mind takes the impressions apart and processes them further on an abstracted level, which can again trigger feelings. Additionally to the earlier described imprinted memory of direct sense organ experiences, comes now the imprint of memorized thought constellations in context to experienced feelings. Beliefs and opinions are added to the landscape of direct sense experiences. No perception is a rare state. No perception is what this is all about. The state revealing the pure and undefiled consciousness. Undefiled because the state of no perception is free from feeling and thought. Consciousness which is free from perception of any difference. For some moments, or as a permanent state, which is known as Nibbana or Nirvana. Not white nor black. This is what the whole teaching is about. A structured way to uncover the undefiled consciousness beyond the illusion of I, beyond duality. Prince Siddhartha, now called Buddha or Buddho, meaning person awake, structured a training method to make his experience available for others. What he based his teaching on are the following observations he made regarding facts of life. Origination. Everything has a beginning. Progression. Everything progresses, changes over time. Cessation. Everything comes to an end. Birth, growth and age, death. Suffering. We all encounter pain in one or the other form during our lives. Nature of non-self, meaning these and all other things that we experience which are beyond our control. Suffering exists only due to the fact of subjective perception of I and mine. If there is no I left to perceive, there is nothing to perceive suffering. Suffering, birth, aging, death stops immediately with the cessation of the perception of I and mine. What is left is called Nibbana or Nirvana, the state beyond perception. There are 4 statements proclaiming these facts, which are called the 4 Noble Truths, or the truth by which one gets ennobled. Life bears the experience of suffering. The cause for all suffering is desire and craving, resulting out of the perception of I and mine. There is a way to end all suffering, namely the Eightfold Path of practice and training. The training focuses on 3 aspects to be developed in order to achieve the state of mind of no perception, and is called the threefold learning. Training in higher morality, training in concentration, in higher mentality, training in knowledge, understanding, to gain higher wisdom. The training framework is called the Eightfold Path. Right view and understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. Right view and understanding, meaning an intellectual grasp of the concept, understanding that impermanence and non-selfhood of things causes suffering, tension, in the mind if there is any attachment to I and mine. To use the own intellectual capabilities for understanding and resolving the problems in this regard. Right thought, meaning constructive thinking, developing a mind that is free from disturbing thoughts such as ill will, hatred, revenge, greed, jealousy, lust, and violence. It means to develop mental integrity according to the declared objective. Right speech, meaning constructive talking, developing a speech that is free from harsh language, lying, boasting, tale-bearing, cunning, or deceiving. It means to develop integrity in speech according to thoughts and actions.
Right action, meaning constructive actions, abstaining from killing, stealing, intoxication, lying, inappropriate sexual contacts to avoid negative impact in one's own and other lives. It means to develop constructive behavior benefiting oneself and the surrounding. Right livelihood, meaning righteous work. To make his living not on cost of exploiting others, not to deal in weapons, drugs and alcohol, or anything else harming living beings or nature. This is not to create inner conflicts due to the work one does, since this is preventing the mind from further developing on the path of purification, leading to the peace which enables the inside realization. Right effort, meaning the will to exercise, developing endurance and self-discipline in order to avoid letting rise or overcome already arisen, troublesome and bad states of the mind. Develop good and beneficial states of the mind and maintain them when they have arisen. Right mindfulness, meaning right meditation. There are different forms of meditation suitable for different levels and individual spiritual needs. It is about calming the mind to an extent where useful observation becomes possible. Observation of the mind in regard of described sense organ and thought processes perceived which generate the illusion of I and mine. Right concentration, meaning ability to keep focus. Developing a mind that is able to stay focused on a single object or deed one wants to perform along the right path. It means a mind that does not wander from thought to thought and is steady like a candle flame when the air does not move it. The training establishes the four sublime states of consciousness. Metta, unconditional, all-embracing love. Karuna, empathy, compassion, pity. Mudita, altruistic and sympathetic joy. Upekkha, neutrality, equanimity and indifference. Metta is unconditional, all-embracing love. Is often called loving-kindness. It is pure love which is not bound to an object or person. It is love that is free from desire. Karuna is empathy and compassion for all living beings. Is wanting to help any being in distress or pain. Is to be the companion for hard times. Mudita is to rejoice in the joy of others without any jealousy as if it were one's own. To be delighted about the luck of others. Is to be happy for them as if the good thing would have happened to oneself. Upekkha is neutrality and equanimity. Is the ability to keep passive in any situation and letting all pass and go. Is indifference. Where there is no perception, there is no more difference. Meditation and concentration training are the main points to exercise. It is about deprogramming and freeing the mind from the deeply imprinted sense organ and thought experience patterns. It is about emptying the mind from its perception, from its clinging to sense objects, opinions, rites and rituals, and the idea of selfhood. Something new reveals itself. The consciousness is no longer enslaved by the mechanisms of the imprinted mental processes and perception. Pure, undefiled consciousness reveals itself. Not white nor black. A state beyond perception of thoughts and feelings, memory and expectation. Something that can be experienced, but not described, since it is the sphere holding the mind within. Like the amount of water in a bottle on the ground of the ocean cannot keep the amount of water of the whole ocean inside, can the mind dwelling in the realm of sense experience perception not grasp what its nature is? It is through correct mental training, supported by correct actions, that the bottle breaks. And the true nature of things is realized on one's own individual, personal basis. The major problem is that to achieve an empty mind, one cannot rely on anything but one's own experience during practice. Also, this presentation is creating perception, and if it is taken as anything else but inspiration for own practice, becomes also a hindrance on the way. Meaning that any idea is not what it is. Since a believed idea results in clinging to an opinion again. The whole presentation can only give a hint to the direction and name fields of practice to be addressed. Then, that is what it is all about. Practice. No one but yourself can walk the path. Being in presence of ones who already practice well and have gained insight makes things easier. It is through observation of the mind that understanding of the own mental processes and patterns is gained. It is by understanding of what is what in the mind that one gains control over it. And by means of correct concentration. This is what Vipassana, also called insight meditation,